March is National Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. So tell us about how colorectal cancer has impacted your life, Craig.
Well, several years ago, Dr. Orden, I got a phone call out of the blue that my older brother had been diagnosed with not just colorectal cancer, but stage 4 colorectal cancer. It was one of those things where he wasn't a drinker, wasn't a smoker. In fact, played football in college, and here he was at 39, diagnosed with stage 4 colorectal cancer.
Wow.
But we lost him at 43, in the prime of his life, 2 young children, to a disease that people just don't talk about.
Well, we need to talk more about it, that's for sure. I have to ask you, Craig, do you have a family history of colon cancer?
Well, it's funny you asked that, Dr. Orden, because when my brother was diagnosed, no, we didn't. We didn't know about it. And then all of a sudden, because a doctor like yourself says to my brother, you know what, why don't you start asking some questions? And then he starts asking questions. And then, my dad says, oh yeah, your grandma had colon cancer. She didn't die from it, but yeah, she had it. And if I remember correctly, they treated it and that was fine. Then it was, you know what, I think Aunt such and such, if I remember, I think she had colon cancer. And then all of a sudden you discover, oh yeah, we did have a family history of colon cancer.
Well,
we didn't talk about it.
As you now know, after the fact, that history is so important with colon cancer. And Craig, I'd like to dive a little bit deeper into the subject of colon cancer and bring into the discussion colorectal surgeon. I understand your friend, Dr. Cedrek McFadden, into the conversation. Welcome, Dr. McFadden. How are you?
I'm doing well, and thank you so much for having me. Great to be here.
Dr. McFadden, as a colorectal surgeon, tell us, you probably see cases quite similar to Lawrence's, unfortunately, right?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We've seen over the years an overall decreasing rate of colorectal cancer in people that are over the age of 50, 60, 65. But we've seen the rates of colorectal cancer nearly double, more than double, in people under the age of 50. So we have to overall pay attention to our health and pay attention to the signs that our bodies are giving us.
Exactly right. That's why we have to catch these things early. So tell us, Dr. McFadden, what are some of the risk factors when it comes to colon cancer? That's a starting point for men listening. If you're at higher risk, then you can't wait on it. You have to be proactive.
Well, there's some of the risk factors that you might immediately think of, and things such as your family history, having a family history and a first degree or second degree relative that have colorectal cancer. That's obviously a risk factor that we obviously recognize, but it's not the only one. And just because you have a family history doesn't mean 100% you will get it. And if you don't have a family history, that's 100% meaning you won't get it. And so you still have to know the other risk factors that may include things such as obesity, drinking alcohol excessively, smoking, that's a risk factor as well, and eating lots of red and processed foods and meats. Those are risk factors that we also have to come into conversation with all of our patients, especially as we talk about health as a whole and wellness. That diet is very important.